if my audio is on.
People join. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As a part of our leadership talk series, today we have with us Mr. Deepak Deshpande. He is Assistant Vice President at Tata Business Excellence Group at Tata Sons. He has more than 27 years of experience in human resource and business excellence domain. He has previously worked with Force Motors, Hindustan Thompson Associate, Tata Chemicals before joining Tata Business Excellence Group. He has been HR professional and also closely worked with aerospace, defense division, hospitality, aviation, ITS industry in Tata Group as relationship manager. He is also HR subject matter expert and has been a TBEM assessor, deep dive assessor, and subject matter expert for HR consulting. He is a mechanical engineer with MMS in human resources. Apart from this, he is also a scuba diver and swimming enthusiast. So guys, today we will be having a more interactive session with Mr. Deepak sir, and hope everybody will have an active participation. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prithviraj. Very good evening to all of you. It's nice to see you all. I hope you are all safe wherever you are. For sure, I know you are not in the campus, but I sincerely hope you are safe. It's almost 8 p.m. I know it would have been a long day for you, and but nevertheless, any discussion like this, conversation like this, is something which really energizes me, and that's why I'm pretty keen and excited for this session. So, though the theme is leadership talk is normally a one-way process, but I'd encourage each one of you to kind of make it a two-way conversation, which would actually help. So when I was kind of discussing what should be the theme of our topic, one thing which came to what was told to me was this is about the leadership talk. So for me, I think leadership is a journey. And so from that perspective, I thought it would be good to share certain aspects from my own perspective. And like Prithviraj just mentioned that I'm a scuba diver, I'm into swimming. So when we talk about self-check-in, the first thing which comes to in our mind is a check-in which we normally do on a flight when you're boarding a flight or various things. So my first experience of self-check-in in not a flight perspective kind of a thing was actually when I was about to do a 20 years. So this is a small story I'd like to share it with you. When I was doing my scuba diving at around 20 meters. So normally before you enter, you need to do a quick check of the equipments, instruments, everything. And everything was like pretty okay. And that's when I dived, and somewhere in between, it should around be 10 meters or so. That is when, I don't know what went wrong, but normally when you dive along with a buddy, along with a partner. And at that point of time, I realized something had gone wrong, and it was a scary feel. And I was almost 10 meters down, and so I was feeling breathless for a moment. And I was calling my buddy, who was supposed to be with me, but he had kind of moved forward. That is when I realized the importance of normal breathing that we do. It took me so long and 10 meters under the water to understand the importance of breathing, which we have been doing. I also understood the importance of a simple word like hi. So I wanted to call in my friend. He was like moving away, drifting away from me, and I was kind of, I didn't know how, his back was facing me, and I was trying to get in touch with him. Fortunately, we had the instructor. He realized that, okay, this guy is struggling. He came in and he kind of helped, and we kind of came in, and we followed a protocol which needs to be followed when you again emerge. So all that was there, and that was a unique experience for me, because though I had checked in various things in terms of equipment, stuff like that, but it really gave me lots of insights on life in general, because certain things which we take it for granted, the value of it I realized that day, and at almost 10 meters in an ocean is when I realized the importance of that. So that is something which a check-in happened, which was not an intentional check-in for me, but that check-in also kind of helped me understand the importance of various things. So from that perspective, I thought the way we can look at it is the importance of check-in, and that's something which now I try to do it more often, more frequently, and that is something which I thought might be I can share with you guys. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just sharing my screen. So kindly bear with me. Um, yeah. Yeah, please let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, I hope you can see this ABC of self check-in, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect. So let's just begin. Let me just make some small changes. And I'm sorry I'm using this tool, but hopefully it should work. So broadly, this is something which I thought I'll share with all of you guys. So it's basically about the leadership journey, and some aspects of Cynefin at work. We'll get into it. I try to make it not very structured, but generally aspects which would mean something for us. Some things around engines of life, why check-in, we broadly looked at it. Then some aspects of Socratic questioning. So I'll share my own leadership journey. That's where I feel leadership is something which is an ongoing process. Uh, we all know we are all management graduates, so I'm sure you have most of you come with lots of experience, and you're well versed with various aspects in terms of what leadership is and what it is not. We all know what is triple bottom line. We all know who our stakeholders are. We all know how it's important to kind of um, uh, serve our stakeholders, be it your public, private NGOs, your customers, your consumers, your employees, the communities, suppliers, and partners. When you look at leadership, taking on a new leadership role, but what I'm suggesting or inviting you to look at is leadership role in a new way. So in a way, leadership for me is not about only successes, and certainly it is not about only failures. Leadership is not something which is white or black. There'll be lots of aspects of gray. Leadership is, for me, it's a continuous journey. It's something which we explore, discover, and keep on learning as we move on. And that, for me, is kind of leadership. And in a way, leaders, I'm sure you all know and agree that leadership can be at multiple levels. The first level is to be able to lead ourselves. Leadership of self, in my view, becomes very important and critical in terms of how are we in complete control of ourselves, how are we knowing ourselves much well better in terms of our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, our beliefs, and so on. Then comes in leadership of teams or leadership of people, where again you need to be in a position where you are inspiring, influencing, impacting the teams which are working with you. So that is the hierarchy that I have. Starts with leadership of self, then leadership of teams, leadership of people. Then, of course, you have P&L responsibilities or business unit responsibilities. As you move up, there will be multiple stakeholders, and the balancing of the entire thing in terms of people, profits come in. So that's for me. That for me is the third level of leadership. The fourth aspect is when you are responsible for the entire P&L of an organization, typically at CEO level, where multiple things are there, right from the culture of the organization, preparing the organization for the future, running the business, changing the business, aspects like that. And then probably there are other aspects also in terms of leadership of ecosystems, which goes beyond an organization, beyond being a CEO, MD of an organization, which is much broader and wider. And for me, it doesn't stop at an ecosystem level. It probably again goes in. So maybe that is something for a different time. So that is where I feel all starts from ourselves. And I'm sure each one of you are experienced people and have already kind of gone through this phase of leading self, leading others, and probably leading processes or systems or businesses and so on. Like I said, the idea objective of this is to make the thing a little fun oriented, do some activities. So what I'm going to do is, let me just pause over here for a minute and invite if there are any observations, anything that you have, because this is what I thought I can share with you. Let me just go to this thing in terms of self check-in. But let me just stop and see if there are any specific expectations, ideas, thoughts, because this is not, like I said, not about a monologue, not about a one-way talk, but more of a conversation. So I'm taking a pause, and anybody would like to share anything? Please unmute yourself and speak out.
Hello, am I audible, sir? Hello.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hi, sir. So this is Ritwik. I just had a startup question. So by self check-in, basically you mean like we should basically analyze our own strengths and weaknesses and try to deep dive within ourselves to kind of get a overview of what we are and what we basically want to achieve. And I mean, we should do a thorough analysis of ourselves before jumping into the market, right? If I understood that part. Or
Yes, and yeah, in a way, yes, that's a good starting point, I'd say, where we know ourselves better. So it's not only knowing ourselves, there are multiple things which come into play. The second aspect is the situation, right? So we may know ourselves very well. Like I gave an example of myself in the scuba diving. So I prepared very well. I knew everything. I had kind of mastered. I'm pretty, like I said, pretty decent swimmer. In terms of the electronic courses and things like that, I'd done pretty well. So I knew myself very well. The second factor which comes in is the situation. So that's where sometimes you may be in control of situation, sometimes you may not be in control of situation. And that's where there are lots of interactions or lots of experiences which get generated. So I think as individuals, it's also important to understand ourselves very well. It's also important to understand the situations as much as possible. And finally, the way we kind of interacted or reacted in that particular situation. So I think as this journey progresses, at least I am learning, it's very important to learn from those situations. It gives tremendous insights in terms of what we are learning from the situation. And more important is what are we learning about ourselves in that situation. So like I said, till that point of time, I was to an extent quite confident, overconfident, let me say that way. I considered myself to be pretty good and to a certain extent boasting, and to a certain extent a little egoistic also. But my learning about myself in that situation was that, okay, vulnerabilities are there. I need to respect nature. I need to be really be aware, alert on various things which are there. So those are certain things which I really value quite a lot. Like you rightly said, learning about ourselves before you are getting into a market or anything. But learning about the situation is also equally important. And learning about yourself, how you kind of behaved, how you responded, how you acted, also helps quite a lot. So that is an entire aspect of check-in. So when you check in, there'll be a whole lot of things which we need to be aware of, is what broadly we'll be looking at it. Of course, we'll not get into all those aspects, but a flavor of how we need to stop, how we need to be more aware of ourselves, how we need to be more aware of the situation, and how we need to be aware of our the conversion of ourselves and this situation. It could be multiple people, it could be a situation, it could be various. I hope that helps you understand this thing.
yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, that pretty much covers everything. Thanks a lot.
Great. Any other questions, observations?
So I have an observation over here from one of my experiences. It may look like a little bit of distraction from here, but I thought this would be relevant compared as your scuba diving example. There was this one incident in my professional life where we as team decided to challenge each other that let's go to an adventure park and let's see who can do how many roller coaster rides. I was very scared. Like I will put up my money. I said I'm gonna put up my money upfront. I'm not going up there. But then our manager said, "You have to do it. I am not taking it no for an answer. Try it out. We as a team have to develop." So I said, "Okay, let's try once." So we went on the first one, and in the whole ride, um, I was scared. I was uh, I did not know how to handle it, and the whole ride I was chanting, "Why? Why am I sitting here? Why am I sitting here? Why am I sitting here?" And after that, I was completely up that I'm not getting up another one. I will give it up. Then again, he said, "Now it's not 100 rupees; it's $100. Sit or give $100 up." Like, now I don't have any options. I have to sit in this. So we sat on the next one, and initially I was very scared, but after the 2 to 3 seconds, I opened my eyes, and suddenly the view in front of me was so beautiful and bright. I realized that this roller coaster is not. It's just an example. When you open your eyes, you see what you see out there is very bright, very open, and you can actually look at all the challenges, all the ups and downs, how they're coming, how they're going. You can experience it. You can plan ahead for them. You can plan your body for them how to handle it. And it gave me such a good feeling that after that we had 7 more rides, and I felt scared in none. And it gave me certain in the evening when we discuss our experiences, this was what I felt, that life is like that. Till the time we are closing our eyes and not looking ahead, not looking at the challenges, we will always be scared. But when we are looking at it upfront, it's beautiful. Even the challenges are beautiful. The view from the top is beautiful. The view from the bottom is beautiful, and the whole journey is just exciting.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, and I can really relate with it. And in a way, that is what something which is mentioned over here, ABC. You have broadly touched upon it. We'll get into more details. So basically, what was happening, and ABC basically stands for an activity, a belief, and consequences. So you normally people have various beliefs, and those beliefs are built up the way we are brought up, built up based on various personality aspects, our grooming up, and the various experiences of our past which we would have gone through. So that is where we build in our belief systems, right? So before you got into that joyride, probably there was a belief system which said that okay, it might be dangerous, it might be leading to certain things, and the initial reaction of that consequence of that was fear, saying that okay, I don't want to get into it. There might be something which is there known to you consciously or deep down subconsciously, but what you did was you challenged that belief. Probably your manager told you that okay, this is the fine, this is what you need to do. So you, in a way, what you did was you challenged that particular belief, and you are forced to. You didn't have an option. You need to get into it. And when you got into it, that is when you realize that okay, it's not as bad. Yeah, so that's what ABC is about. We are going to look at it. What is ABC or self check-in, which is basically an activity, our beliefs, deep-rooted beliefs, and the consequences which emerge from those beliefs, and why it's important to kind of do a self check-in. So in this case, you were asked to do a self check-in. Probably, if it would have been a different experience, you would never have again gone back to that. But again, another important aspect in the concept of self check-in is when we get into a space, we need to get into a space of knowing or identifying the truth without any judgments or without any biases. And it's normally difficult to get into that space because we are already having some biases. When we are asking those questions to ourselves, we are already coming from a certain way of thinking, and hence it becomes quite important to kind of come in and look at those biases. I had a similar experience. So as a child, I was bitten by a small puppy, and I had to take 14 injections in my stomach. So you can imagine the fear I had for animals or dogs. And that was there for quite some time. And I used to be traumatized, and anytime I should, so I never had even a small picture of any kind of dog in my house or this thing. So I was that scared. But I think over a period of time, I was actually with a friend who was physically challenged, and I saw him the way. So I'd been to a friend's place where they had two huge dogs, and when I saw this friend of mine who was like physically challenged, kind of getting along with them and huddling them, I said, I mean, what's stopping me from doing it? So I kind of challenged my own belief, saying that okay, whatever has happened. That is past. There's no point carrying my past right now or disturbing my future. And it was difficult for me. It happened step by step, but now I kind of love dogs. I love animals. So that's another example of the beliefs that we have and how we need to overcome. Great, thank you. Wonderful example.
Yes, sir. Just
Anybody else?
if I could add a few words. So, from
Yes,
your
yes, please,
experience
please.
of scuba diving and how you came across all the hyperventilation and all those stuff. So, what I feel is that even 2 weeks back, even I was watching a video, a TED talk, where a similar person was experiencing this life or death analogy, and they were basically climbing a reef, a mountain, and their safety harness was basically it got detached, and they were just hanging by the line, and there was no safety equipment in front of them, and the person then somehow was 200 feet above the ground. So if that cable break, he dies. So somehow his friends were able to save him. And whatever you are saying about the self check-in and self-realization fact, it often strikes to people when they've had a kind of life-altering experience in their lives. So I believe that even in that aspect, the person reflected on he's being granted a second life, so as to speak. So this really, I think, if you've had a particular incident in your life which is life altering in any respect, I think it really makes you think about the deeper meaning which you are talking about, life and self introspection and all that. So I think until people generally have that any experience like it, it is very difficult to envision this or feel this way.
Right. Well, they're very true. However, what I feel is, like you said, normally you require experience like that. But so again, probably where is that thought coming in from, right? So if you question yourself, where is this thought coming in from? Does it have to be that way, or there could be other ways also? It could be experiences of others, and one need not go through those experiences, which might be pleasant, which might be the other way around. But again, going back and challenging those beliefs, saying that okay, it's important to do or look at the entire thing much better, deeper. Of course, our own experiences are something which is valuable. You always look at it, but it doesn't mean that you need to go through an experience like this only to understand or understand the value of what we are doing. But yes, certain experiences certainly kind of help you, and they need not be life-altering experiences. There could be normal experiences across, and just being aware of various things which are happening in our life, around us, it itself is quite altering. So let me just share another example of this. Part of our volunteering program, a CSR, I was doing an assessment. Like we do a business excellence assessment, we also do an affirmative action assessment. So this is basically for the poorest of the poor or underprivileged people who come from SC background. And I was visiting a school in a rural tribal area. And as you know, kids normally don't uh, go to schools for various reasons. And one of the reasons where kids started going to school was because they get this meal, which is called a midday meal. And sometimes the parents are so poor that they can't afford to provide a meal to the children. And that is where the kids are normally sent, at least go have some food and come back. So while I was there, I saw uh, two kids. a girl which would be around 7, 8 years, and a younger brother would be around a couple of years younger. They were sitting and having the food, and the person over there, the social worker, just took me around, and while looking at them, I saw that they were separating certain things from their food. It was simple dal chawal, but they were separating certain things. So I was wondering what's happening over there. So I just went around and tried to understand what's happening. So she explained, but the Anganwadi worker, the social worker, told me that actually they're separating those white stuff, what you see. So I was wondering what it is. They said, actually, that is something they have never seen in their life, and they are just segregating it. And I asked, what is it? They said, it is actually a cashew nut. So you can imagine some kids who have never actually seen a cashew nut in life, they don't know what it is. They thought that it's basically a rock or a piece of a thing which normally comes in, and they were segregating it, eating it. So that's their experience. But for me, it was again very important, and that was a very solid experience for me. And why I'm sharing this with you is that is something which I shared this with my children, my kids, and it took some time for them to understand, relate, but now they do relate with the things which. So point is, it's good to have your own experiences, but it's also important to be aware around what's happening and also learn from others' experiences. So my kids now, at least I feel, they value the food much better, more than what they used to do it earlier. The wastage of food. For me, it was again like one of those moments that kids don't even get to eat a proper food, and they have never seen a cashew nut in their life, and they are segregating it. So you can understand what it is. So the point is, yes, experiences are important to have your own, but again, if don't go by that belief that it's only my experience which would help me to change or alter my life in a better way. So that's the only point I wanted to make. I hope it's clear. Okay, any other thoughts, experiences, or observations?
Yes, sir. This is Showman here. So just a
Yeah,
small
sure.
example that I would like to add. See, I'm indebted to a couple of my friends for that, who pushed me for running, for running into the small marathons. So what it did, I mean, initially when I just started with the 5K running, so the first run that I did, the starting point, it was the biggest push that was required to start it, to start anything as that matter of fact. So, but the joy that it gives after you cross the finishing line, so that is something you keep for you for the next. I mean, that is the driver that you get that will keep you motivated for the rest of your life. So that one instance just hooked me with the, I mean the sport or the event, like that instance in itself compelled me that I'll come back through the track again and again and again and again. So that's very close to me, and I am very grateful to those friends who actually pushed me for this.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I go through that challenge almost on a daily basis. So I also run, but I don't run as well. But while running, I normally take up some targets that I'll do, let's say 5 kilometers in under 32 minutes, or let's say 7 kilometers. But when I'm running, I realize there are two thoughts which are going in my mind. There's an angel which is saying, okay, come on, push. It's okay, you can do it. There's also a
Yes.
devilish kind of a thing saying that, okay, you have done it, it's fine, let's stop, you can probably do it later on. I don't know if you come across those thoughts. And
Yes, yes, I do.
sometimes, surprisingly, the devil keeps winning most often. Yeah. So even I wonder what's happening. And then you realize, Arey yaar, aaj chodo, but kal 100% let me try and do it. So I've been thinking that why does this happen? We know that it's important. It's good to stretch ourselves. It gives a good feeling when you complete your thing, and it's not only the distance but the time and various things, depending on, of course, your age, what is your overall body structure, capability, and all. But there is this little devil which comes up and says, "Yeah, yaar, bas ho gaya." Maybe it's a different thing, and it pushes you that okay, stop, doesn't happen. And like I said, most often the devil takes over and the angel is has to move you away. I don't know if you have experienced that, but it requires a whole lot of angelizing that devil, if I can use that word, saying that, okay, let me give it a try. And probably once you get into that zone, we'll be talking about that also a little bit. That's when your mind is so focused that you actually become more of a zombie, that you just focus on the process, not on the outcome. You don't
Yes.
think of completing 5 or 21 or 42. You just focus on the process and something takes over. And that's when your body is not in your control. Your mind is running everything and you're just running and running and running. So, or doing an activity, whatever you're doing. So that's also very important. And when you do that, it's also important to do a self check-in to know what's actually happening at that point of time. And that is a zone of uh, the high focus, high this thing, and we really do quite well over there. Great example. Thanks. And that's again,
Yeah.
it helps to do a self check-in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's move on. What we'll do is like I said, we'll try to co-create certain things. What I'm going to do is I'll just be sharing this thing. I don't know how successful we will be in this particular thing, but let me just give it a try. Um, so I'm just sharing a link with all of you, and if you can just I'll be sharing this on the chat window, and if you can, sorry, I'm not very comfortable with Zoom, that's why I'm checking. Okay, yeah, I get it. If you can just click on this and mm, yeah, so if you can join in on this, it will take you to a web page called Mural. Just join in and come in over here on this particular screen. Okay, great. So I can see people who are joining in. Yeah, so I want all of you to be over here in this window. I know it's quite exciting to come in over here. Yeah, so I can see Abhay Agarwal, Soumya Arijit and all. So you just need to experience the play a bit. On left hand side, you can see there is this post-its, shapes and connectors. You just put put up a post-it which could be a yellow, blue, green color, and you can just write in your name or something. So this is something which we'll be doing. So just pull up a post-it and just key in your name the way I'm just doing it. Just once you make it, just ensure that you just keep in your post-it and don't change others. Anybody having challenge problem over here on this?
Yes, sir. How to get the post-it? Can you repeat again?
Sir, I am not able to
Yeah,
open
go
the
on the
link.
left-hand side. Are you on your laptop?
Yes, sir.
You should be. Just try again. Click on it. On left-hand side, try it and let me know. Click again, and you should be able to open it. On the top, you have this icon which says text. So just use that, and you'll be able to pick up. Yeah. So Akshay Dinde, Surbhi, Dhara Mehta. So there are a whole lot of people who are creating their this thing. Just put in your name and so if you great, wonderful. So if you just put in your name and just below the name put in how are you feeling now, and it would be nice if you can just do this quick activity. You have your post-it. Under that on that post-it below your name, you can just put in how you're feeling now. The feeling could be anything. Excited, great, Surbhi. You can reduce the size of the post-it also. Fun. Okay. So you also have somebody who is scribbling. You have this pen which can be used, but use a post-it. Nostalgic. That's Priyanka. Feeling cool, enjoying the activity. Wonderful. Happy, excited. Just put in your name so that we'll know. And great thing. Yeah, so initially it'll take a little while, but it's good fun. Great, wonderful experience. Yeah, that's Rahul. Ayush, wonderful activity, motivated. So I'll keep summoning you to this particular thing. That are fun. And, yeah, curious, nostalgic. So as soon as living the moment. Okay, great, wonderful. Okay, so that was quickly to give you a feel of what it is. So my request is just hang on, hold on to it. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear.
Okay, great, great. So wonderful. So what we'll do is let me just take you to the next thing which we are going to look at. So here again, what we'll do is you know how to create a post-it. You know what it is. So broadly, you can just pick up a post-it and any ideas, thoughts on what's happening in life, or how simple, how complex, or how complicated, how chaotic it is. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, and there will never be a right or wrong answer. So anything that you want to take and put in various aspects which are happening in your life, which could be just don't. Again, I leave it to you. If you feel you are comfortable putting your name, please put in your name and aspects which you feel are simple, which you are doing well, it's going on well. Put that activity thing over here. Aspects that you feel are a little challenging, which you are going through right now, you can just put in what aspect of that is either simple or complicated or chaotic or complex. Is the activity clear? Yes, no?
So what is there in the second quadrant?
Okay, so let me just, so the second quadrant is complex. So we have 4 quadrants.
Okay, okay.
The bottom right is simple, complicated, complex, and chaotic. So what you need to do is there'll be, all of us would be having various things in different quadrants. Certain things in life are quite simple and which we are doing quite well. Some certain things might be complicated. Certain things might be complex. Certain things might be chaotic. It could be one thing or multiple things. You can just put in. So again, this is a fun activity. You may want to reveal your name. It's okay if you don't want to reveal your name also. That's also fine.
So do we have to create new post-it for this, or we have to drag the old ones to this?
Would suggest you can create new ones. That way it is better. The old ones was more on feelings. So you can just, it's easy to create a new post-it from left hand side window. Let the other post-its in terms of what you are feeling, let it be there. You can create new post-its from here. You can just put in if it is a situation, let's say college is simple or complex, or assignments is simple, complex, complicated, or dealing with the current situation of COVID is simple, complex, or this thing you can just put in over there. So I'm summoning everybody over here. So this is the box on which we need to put in. So bottom right is simple, complicated. If you've taken a large post-it, I'm just kind of. Okay. I'm just trying to rearrange. A whole lot of post-its have come in over here. Friendship online. So a lot of things which are coming in. Managing time. MBA simple. Okay. Living current life. Everything. Okay. Everything seems to be chaotic for somebody. It's okay. Fine. Daily routine seems to be chaotic for somebody. Learning something new is gratifying but hard. Okay. MBA in COVID times will be an added advantage or complicated. Yeah. So if you're putting your post-it somewhere else, just drag them on to the box. The boxes are getting quite cluttered right now. Okay, but I hope you are capturing those things that you have written. Multiple people, everybody have written different things, but you should be knowing what aspect of your life is simple, what is complicated, what is complex, and what is different, chaotic. Okay, friends, I think let's take a pause over here. I hope you enjoyed the activity. Just remember, even if you don't write it over here, it's okay. It's basically to get you a feel of the things which are which we are now going to deep dive into. Okay, so great. So what I'm going to do is now temporarily I'm just going to give you only view only right, so that you'll not be able to make any changes. And okay, so are we all there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
Yes,
So just to ensure that we can kind of continue, I have kind of put it over stop over here. So again, I'd invite you. So this is more of reflection of things that you have mentioned in your life, or the way you have categorized them as uh, simple, complicated, complex, and chaotic. And from that perspective, what is it that is normally happening or you'd be doing? So in a way, if it is simple, I think it's pretty straightforward. You need to assess the situation, facts, categorize them, based response on established practices. You have various best practices to look at. Clear cause and effect relationship is something which is there, are evident, and you know there is a correct answers which is there for things which are simple, which are repeatable, scalable, predictable. So that's something which I'm sure each one of you is doing. But the idea is how do you get aspects which are at different levels of complexity or disorder to order. So from a simple aspect, it could be a little complicated, which could be basically around assess the situation, investigate several options, based responses on various good practices. So typically what happens in an organization or uh, even let's say your college life would be aspects like this. It becomes complicated because you might be having multiple things to be done, multiple challenges in terms of deliverables, multiple lectures, multiple things. How do you manage? So that's where you use expert insights, you use metrics, you use multiple domains of your own best practices, and so on. This is still more predictable than not predictable. The next one is around complex. So that's where you come across different complexities in life. It could be new challenges, new problems, how you can look at different aspects in terms of creativity, innovation, approaches, knowing about yourself, knowing about situation. It's all about experimentation to discover patterns, experimentation, understanding yourself, increasing level of interaction, communication. So this is the aspect of complex, and we all as human beings fall into this area. That's where we tend to try to understand ourselves much better of who we are, how we are working, and so on. And the last one is around chaotic, where you suddenly don't know what's happening, but your response is important. You need to quickly act. The action becomes very important. You need to take multiple decisions, right or wrong. You still need to take multiple decisions. Look for what works instead of what is the right answer. So you need to just keep on doing things, and that is what happened when the COVID struck in. It was chaotic, but the idea was just do something. We need to act it. We need to act upon it. So in our life also sometimes certain things happen, but important thing is to just act, sense, and then respond. And another aspect is no one knows what happens, and no clear cause and effect. So these are different situations which can happen in our life and are probably happening in our life. And there's nothing like anybody would be having just a simple kind of a situation anytime. It would be a combination of various aspects. So let me just take a pause over here. We started off with the aspect of check-in. We discussed broadly about the ABC and various things. Then we looked at the importance of check-in. Then we did this quick activity of what are you think, what are you feeling right now. We quickly did this Cynefin framework in terms of simple, complicated, complex, chaotic. So let me just take a pause over here and invite your observations, discussions, questions, queries for everybody.
Yeah, sir. I am Abhijit here. I have a question here.
Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah. So my point here is I have only kept it that part like chaotic, sorry, complicated, that we are doing MBA in this particular COVID time, and it's so challenging, right? So after 100 years that we face this particular year, and we are doing our management education. So, sir, I'm taking it in a positive tone because every challenging time, actually, we learn from that particular moment so that we can be ready for the future. So will this challenging time help us in any manner, in another positive way, so that we can, it will be an added advantage to this management education for our upcoming career options, that this because already management education is so hectic. On the top of it, this is the challenging time that we are always worried about what will happen with respect to placement, what will happen with respect to our opportunities. So will it help us to cope up with the challenges which we'll be facing in our career in future?
Great question. So what is your view on this? What do you think?
Sir, I believe it will help because whatever generally management education every person undergoes every year, we all are undergoing the same thing, although at present online, but curriculum wise or the discussion wise, everything is going on from the college end as well. And on the top of this particular challenging time, so and we are balancing both the situations, and in this negative time we are trying to be positive. So I somewhat I feel that, and I always tell to me that okay, we are learning this in this particular time, it might help us to cope up with the difficult times in future. So we are trying to be ready for that. I don't know how much I'm correct, or I'm just giving this particular feeling to me. Okay, although too many negative things are there around us. So still from your
Hmm.
experience, if we can guide us, that is my understanding right, or I'm just giving a wrong feeling to me?
Okay. So let me ask you this question, Abhijit, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Abhijit, what is it that you have learned yourself when the situation came in? Because you said that though this is negative, I see lots of positivity in this situation. So if you have to step back and look at your own self, what is it that you have learned about yourself in this situation?
I think one thing I discovered that I'm able to handle too many things at a same particular time, which I was not able to do
Hmm.
when before I joined MBA. Although I'm
Hmm.
I will say this point with honesty that I love hard working, and I always try to put up my best in any work where whatever I do. But when I started my
Hmm.
MBA, I was a bit confused that will I be able to cope up with all the things. But suddenly, like every day, too many things are there, and with all the
Hmm.
things on the top of it, this negative attitude is also coming into picture due to the time. But still I am seeing
Hmm.
that in the beginning of August, the negativity which was there in me, and suddenly at this
Hmm.
particular moment in October, somewhat I am seeing the positive thing in from that particular negative attitude as well, and I'm able to handle
Hmm.
with too many tasks which I was not able to do at that
Hmm.
particular point of time. Even sir, I'm saying you
Hmm.
one from my experience, like for all of us in our batch, like we uh, almost we are awake for the whole night, and maybe for 3-4
Hmm.
hours we are sleeping, but still that particular tiredness don't come at that one particular moment. Like we are in this particular talk after a long day
Hmm.
discussions or classes and all, still I think all of us
Hmm.
are very much energetic to listen to you, that what you are saying, or we are very much energetic to do the activities what you are
Hmm.
giving. So I think this particular 3 months gave this attitude to all of us, so that we can
Hmm.
be ready for the future leadership roles. So if you can comment on
Okay.
this.
Great, great, Abhijit. So let me just ask you a more a deeper question. You may answer, you may not answer. Like you said, you realized that initially there was negativity, and then there was this thin line, after which you have seen lots of positivity over there. So if Abhijit had to relook at the entire thing and see to it that how can Abhijit have more positivity in any situation which comes in now or in the life. Like you said, initially it was slightly negative, but over a period of time, now it's very positive. Good thing is everybody is energized, everybody is positive. So, what are those things which happened to you when you reflected or changed your orientation in terms of looking at a situation which was negative to now which is more positive and something which is helping you learn? What are the things you could do if similar situation comes in future?
Sir, I from my 3 month experience, I'm telling you clearly what was my thought when I started my MBA journey in XLRI. I was really thinking too much about the salary package of what I will be getting post my MBA. Will it be this or will it be reduced? But I just remember one particular points from one of our professor from XLRI. He mentioned that I don't know like how much package you will get, what will happen to you in future, but the learning which you are getting here,
Mm,
that will be with you. No one can take away this from you. And this 3 months, sir, although
mm,
ups and downs, everything was there. This particular learning experience which I had, and I really now not much worried about. Although I'll not lie that I'm not worried about my job and salaries, but I think the learning which I'm
mm,
gaining and the skills which I will gain from not only I think all of us will gain, that
mm.
particular thing will not stop us even though challenges come in our future, because the proper skill, proper learning will always help us to stand for in the difficult times as well. So this actually got changed in these 3 months.
Great. And if I can ask now to just think and reflect, how are you feeling right now at this point of time?
Right now I will say, sir, I enter when I started my talk, sorry, not my talk, sorry, I'm really sorry. When I started this session with you,
It's okay.
I,
No
I
problem.
I had I think 20 to 30% of energy, and at this moment I have 75 to 80% of energy. A lot of energy gain and some insightful knowledge which I gain, because I believe in one particular point. If I am going to deliver a session, or if I am attending a session, when I enter, if I enter with a X amount of knowledge, when I come out from the session, I will be having at least X plus 1 amount of knowledge, and that increase already happened. So I'm feeling great, I'm feeling energetic, I'm feeling cool. So I think that's what's up.
Great. So actually, when we looked at it, we just did a quick small this thing, because I was not responding to you, Abhijit. You were asking me about my comments, my this thing, but I was not responding to any of your this thing. I was not saying anything. All the responses, all the answers, all the comments came from your side. I was just helping you to think in a certain direction. And while doing so, you went to a certain level. When I'm just taking this example again, when you said that, okay, salaries could be a constraint, or would be a challenge. So the belief saying that when you do an MBA, the package or this thing becomes an issue. So now you see how you started, and then try to drill down deeper and deeper. And you came to a point where you said that, okay, maybe one of the professors said that what you learn, what you gather is more important than various other things. And that is what you are enjoying now. You are focusing on the learning, the knowledge part of it. So just wanted to give you a quick this thing of how actually you are doing a self check-in right now, Abhijit, in terms of going on deeper and deeper and deeper till you reach those belief levels and so on. Great, thanks. So anybody else would like to comment, share?
Hi, this is Prasun.
Yes, please.
Yeah, hi, this is Prasun.
Yes, Prasun.
Yeah, Himanshu, you can go after me, no problem.
So
I just want to share my. I just want to share something. I don't know whether it is positive or negative. So I have experienced quite number of my friends uh, succumb to death also, like either by suicide or by accident or any other medium. So at least like four of our five friends, very close friends, not like just I know them or know their names or just I know how they live or die. So they have succumbed to death, and it's not that it is because of their fault or something. I don't judge them on that, but that has created a bubble in me that in Hindi you call it sab moh maya hai. I don't know what is that exact thing in English, but uh, uh, if you see in with that perspective, if you judge anyone from that perspective, or you judge any situation from that perspective, it seems a very negative point of view. But it is very hard to, like, after the thing happened with them. Uh, I was a very negative person. I thought of everything in terms of negative aspect, like the world should burn up or something like that. So you can say that. I'm just sharing. I'm not taking your point of view and converting into mine. So
No.
so in that aspect, I have come out of it, and I was in it for quite a long time, like a year or so. And it was long time before, like 2 3 years ago. So, like, just wanted to see, like, hear from you what you think of that, because you cannot stay positive all the time. The situation will come to you somehow, somewhere, that it will create a negative aspect inside of you. I know that Abhijit also shared that how this course and relating to the course. I'm not relating to the course. I'm not relating to any academic part of it. I'm just relating to the life part of it. So having experienced that in my life, the negativity, and then coming out of it and getting into XLRI, yeah, it's a very good achievement. I agree, but it's not an achievement to be so much proud of. Also, that I also feel. So how do I like? I'm not asking for answers, but your point of view on that.
Okay. See, I think we spoke about different levels of leadership. Somehow I feel there's something much beyond that, and that is something in a spiritual dimension. And that gets into a deeper question, that who am I? right? So that's where the things of am I the mind, or am I the body, or what am I? So that's another level. We'll not get into it. But broadly, for anybody, there are 6 fears in life. So these fears are fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of loved ones, fear of death. And so it's a fact, right? We need to know that this is something which is going to happen, and it's normally quite easy to mention or say that, but those are genuine fears that each one of us have. Normally it is fear of criticism, or fear of poverty, or fear of ill health, or fear of loss of loved ones, so which in this case could be that. But I think just knowing and understanding the situation itself, what it is, and understanding where that fear is coming for. And I think it's also very important to fully process our emotions. Sometimes we don't process our emotions the way it should be. When we say that we need to be strong, we need to be this thing, we sometimes don't give what is required to the softer aspect, in terms of be it the loss of loved ones or anything. Exactly the way you mentioned. I think it is important that we remit 100% of our emotions, whatever way possible. I'm not saying there is one way or other, but it's important that we need to look at that aspect also, and understand what is the truth, the reality. And that is where you have various aspects of physical science, from and the entire aspect of consciousness and so on. So that is one dimension. But what I suggest you to do is, that is something which is part and parcel of life. That's something which is going to happen. But it's also important to go back to the ABC of the things. Go back to the activity. So probably here in this case, there has been an activity where close near and dear ones have kind of passed away. That has led to certain things, and again, it has led to a belief of this thing, right? So I don't have answers for that. Nobody has. Each one of us have to find our own answers, and take it the way it is. We can't change the world. We can't keep everybody happy. It is something which is going to happen. It is a reality. We need to look at it, understand what it is, and more. And if we come to the realization that okay, life and death is part of a circle which is going to happen, that is when we realize that okay, this is something which is universal truth. So we all come with a date. Only thing is we don't know our expiry date, but that's a fact. So I think it's important to go back to the beliefs of those particular things, spend more time around it, saying that okay, this has happened, it has to happen, it had to happen, it has happened. But we need to move on. Like I said, sometimes we carry too much of our past baggages or our past experiences into future. Again, I'd suggest or invite you to reflect by carrying that. Is it going to help you, or is it going to kind of uh, uh, be a challenge for you to live your life? Because life itself is very beautiful gift of God, the creation itself. So look at it, and probably you may find your answers. And I think that's what I'd say. I don't know if that helps, but I don't have anything else to add on that.
Yeah,
And I do understand it is quite difficult. Typically, we get into counseling sessions where people get into it, and the different ways. But this is more at a very, if I can use this word, superficial level. That's the truth. We need to understand the truth and move on.
yeah, so you're right in that aspect, of course. I have tried counseling as well, not an issue for me. And yeah, of course, we take life lessons from this scenario and we apply it to the future. But my only thing is like, I just want to say कि staying positive is not like a superficial thing, or you can just say objectively that you have to stay positive. Like I see people saying every time, stay positive, but it doesn't comprehend to the actual thing more often than necessary.
Yeah, I completely appreciate your view, and you need to know what is positive for
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
It might be different for different people. You have to look at what does it mean, and look at your purpose in life, your broad vision, your purpose in life.
Yes, sir.
The definition, the meaning of what is positive might be different in different conditions, and so on. So I think finally, individuals have to know, understand, calibrate or recalibrate their own meanings in their life.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Sir, good evening. This is
Great,
Himanshu.
wonderful. Sir.
Good evening, sir. This is
Yes,
Himanshu.
Himanshu. Hi, good evening.
I
Yeah.
would like to reflect few thoughts I have. First of all, the biggest learning I have got from COVID is that we as humans, as in collective, are very resilient. Uh, we can stretch way beyond we can imagine, and I'm sure even if a pandemic twice more as dangerous as COVID is, even if that strike us, we will bounce back because we had World War One, we had World War Two, we had Spanish flu, all those things happen, and still we survived. So the positivity which inspires me personally that we are going to survive in the end of the day. Even if we are going to go to the college, maybe 6 months late, even if we are going to get a job, which is like maybe pays us 30-40% lesser than our peers in the past got, but still we are going to survive. So that's the positivity which I feel and I personally keep. And second thing is generally what happens in all those CBT classes and all those personal development classes, we feel the way the world we perceive and we see us. If we are happy about something, if we see the world in a positive mood, we just become the way we see the things. So in the bigger scheme of things, I think that we as a humans, generally what I keep, generally what I my personally my I had a habit, as like Prasun said, I also had a lot of negativity in me, like few years down the few years back. So I used to crib about a lot of things that this is not happening, this is not happening. Then I realized I was mere complaining, I was mere cribbing about doing anything about it. So doing that self introspection, doing all those ABCs, because I have gone through CBT course in the past. So I realized the first onus lies on us, how we do the things, how we perceive the things. And then I made a mental model that now I will see the world in dichotomy, as if, is there anything I can do to change about the situation in any way possible? If yes, then I will do it rather than cribbing about it in any way possible, regardless of the magnitude, regardless of the scale. And second is there anything I can't do anything about? So I will let it go. I won't fret over it. So following this mental map has made my life easier, and I can move on. I can move on from the things way faster than my peers can go. And because in the end, we all have made mistakes. We all have made mistakes in our personal life, in our corporate life. And the biggest, because that's what, like, I in the morning also we had a session about what the speaker was telling, that we as humans, what we are different, how we are different from animals, are like we are resilient, and we have the ability to think. So we can make our surroundings better. We can just even if we are in a bad mood, even if your situations are against us, the way we perceive us, that's going to decide how we are going to act against it, and that's going to decide ultimately our future. So I think every challenge, everything must be taken in a positive spirit, and that's how I take COVID. Because there is nothing I can do about it, COVID. I cannot make new hospitals. I cannot make new facilities. So what I can do, I can wait for the situation to become normal, and then adapt accordingly. And I think that's the companies across the world, that's the corporates across the world, the professionals across the world. They are doing the same. They're adapting. The Zoom was not as popular, as it was. It is just last. It has become last 3 months. All the things that can be done virtually. We never realized that. So like everything has a downside, everything has a positive side. So I generally focus on the positive sides, and that's what keeps me running. So that's a perspective I have.
Great, wonderful. I think, yeah. So, uh, that's what it is. Finally, how aware are we of our own self? And one is awareness, and second is how can we regulate our own thoughts, feelings. Uh, So great. Thanks for sharing your experiences and also about CBT. And we'll quickly have a look at it in terms of how we can leverage from that. Any other thought or observation before we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Um,
Yes.
I'll take very less time, and I really liked what my batchmate shared. I have to go back to what Abhijit was talking about, how we've improved. So I thought, after this, that if I don't share it, something would be incomplete in this session after Abhijit started on the point. Why I'm saying this is because Abhijit and I work together as CRs, and we work together with two more people. They are also in the session, Shilpi and Amir. And when we started, we never met each other. Uh, we haven't studied each other's body language. We haven't worked together. We didn't know each other. We just got there, got trusted by the batch based on some WhatsApp chats, got selected, started working. Initially, there was a little bit of fear inside me. I did not know how to do it and how will it work, how to rely on others. But the best part came of all of this was when I realized that when everyone wants to put in their work, when everyone wants to succeed together, we are all putting work in the same direction, and it becomes a seamless machine. It's no more an effort for us now. It's a job. To get on call, do it, and get it done. It's no more a pressure on us. It's no more a tension on us. So when Abhijit says that he is very hopeful, he is very energetic, I feel it every day working with these people, that we have so much to work because we are not doing a task. We are doing something that we want to do. And same is with the batch. When we are all wanting to achieve the same thing, it becomes kind of seamless to work towards it. We start acting like a team without even knowing it. We may not know each other personally, we may not be friends, but we are very good teammates, and that gives me hope for the future, that come this condition today or tomorrow, god forbid it comes again, but we know we can survive.
Great. Thanks for sharing. I think very insightful. Okay, so let's quickly move on. So this is basically about the ABC thing, which one of the colleagues also mentioned. So this is basically A's activating events. It could be an internal or an external, which leads to certain beliefs about the event. Which could be rational, which could be irrational, which could lead to certain consequences, which could be positive or negative. So any event that you look at, and if this actually perfectly fits in quite well over here. To my own example of me being scared of dogs or various things which I have come across. So those are those beliefs which have come in, right? So the ABC of self-check-in is, are we able to kind of go back to the three aspects? Normally, we tend to be around here, the consequence part of it, and we struggle more in terms of consequence, what's happening. It could be more of outcomes in terms of positive, negative. It could be in terms of feelings. It could be in terms of behaviors, actions, and so on. But we don't tend to go back to what has led to that kind of a consequence or behavior. And that is where the entire aspect of diving a little bit deeper in terms of why is it leading to that particular thing helps us understand a little better. So also reinforce certain beliefs which could be strengthened, and correct certain beliefs which might not be the right way of looking at things. So I think those are the ones which really kind of help us to go back to our beliefs about the event. Because the events are certain things which may or may not be in our hand, which could be internal to us, which could be external to us. But our beliefs about, or this is basically the lens how we process that particular event, or what we see, what we hear, what we experience, and then apply our own beliefs, our own past experiences, and come to conclusions. So that's broadly what ABC is about. We have got into it. So this is, let me just clear, we did lots of work over here. So yeah, so this is the ABC, the situation, the beliefs and thoughts, and the consequences which lead to various things. So that is something which I wanted to kind of just get into it. But what we'll quickly get into is this particular framework, and that broadly is what we spoke about. It all starts with self-awareness, our own self-awareness in terms of what are we thinking, what are we feeling at this point of time. Like they say, in a day we get more than 70,000 thoughts, and those thoughts lead to our feelings, they lead to our behavior and so on. So if you are aware of our thoughts, our feelings, it actually helps. And the next step is actions around management or self-regulation. How are we regulating our thoughts or ideas? And again, here somebody mentioned that initially there was this negativity around, but important aspect was that there was an awareness of either positivity or negativity. That itself is a great starting point. And once we are aware, then we are able to regulate our own aspects in terms of, okay, this is probably not a positive thing, or this is a negative thing, and this is helpful for me, or this is counter helpful for me, and then work around it. Similarly, we also discussed a couple of excellent examples came in terms of our own self-awareness and social awareness, in terms of be it the team in which we are working, the overall awareness about the teams, being able to empathize with others, the understand what their needs are, try to get into their shoes and get the entire orientation with respect to them. And a combination of all this comes to what we call it typically social skills. So actually, if you look at it, most of your thoughts, whatever has been experienced of what it was and how it translated into your behaviors or actions would be around this particular thing. So this is again a good framework, and when you check in, we basically need to check in at a self-awareness level. So we'll do a quick activity over here now. So I'm what I'll do is I'll quickly give you some the rights again, so that you can come in and work over here again. So the link remains the same, and just come in, and now you will be able to edit again. So what we'll do is this is again a quick activity. Because of shortage, paucity of time, we'll not be able to do the entire thing, but just reflect. These are certain aspects in terms of the abilities low, high, and challenges low to high. And it would be good to know how much time you are there, what part of your activity where you are. So at what point of time you are in a flow. And I can tell you for sure, not everybody can be in flow throughout the thing. And it's not bad or not good to so that I'm sad or depressed. It's an emotion. It's fine. So just think about it. What are the activities, and for those activities, which set of things you can be in. Just to make you, let me just take you to this particular thing, which will give you a better understanding of the definition of the flow, the apathy, the boredom, the relaxation, anxiety, and so on. Okay, and this is the thing where you can put in your post-its, comments, and you can put in an event or activity in which while doing that you are in flow, or you are in control, or you are relaxed, or you are in boredom mode, or you are sad, or there is a worry for you, or there is an anxiety for you. Think through. It could be a thought, it could be an event, it could be an activity, it could be just an interaction with somebody, it could be your submissions, it could be your worries, tensions, whatever. Just try to put in a point over here, post it over here. And this is for you. Again, there's no need to put in your name, but if you want, you can please do that. Okay, so we got reading books and writing, get somebody into the flow. We also have attending sessions, lectures, group activities is in a flow. Learning is a flow. Arousals, goal, objective, mission, wonderful. Driving bike, not in Mumbai, great, relaxing. Okay. Boredom can come anytime, great. So if you can just look at when does it come? Typically boredom comes when our ability to do certain skills is higher than the challenge that we have. We are high on skills, but the challenge that we have is on the lower side. That's when boredom comes. Arun says arousal always precedes succeeds boredom. Planning out life plans, anxiety about future. Back-to-back assignments, yeah, anxiety. I can understand. I can relate. Even now, sometimes I have dreams around those. Not able to give time to family. Yeah. About family during COVID time. Wonderful. I love interacting with people. Beautiful. Reading, writing is relaxation. Wonderful. Inspiration after attending this lecture. Studying case studies, guitar, wow. Sports, working on things I like, control. Monotonous. When I realize that I'm not able to achieve my expectations, that's when boredom comes in. Great. Too many demands. Too many assignments. Online learning, yeah, I can understand. It becomes very boring. Apathy. Sitting alone reading. Okay. When someone, especially animal, is in pain. Okay. But planning, interactions, planning, out of life plans, tons of assignments gives anxiety. Okay. Okay, interactions, studying case studies gives this thing. Great. Driving bike only RX 100, not in Mumbai. Okay. Play musical instrument. Being with family gives relaxation. Wonderful. reading non-fiction books, hello, interacting with people, poetry, content writing, wonderful. Talking, somebody use time running. Talking gives an anxiety, tons of assignment, fear of failures. Okay, right. Controlled riding, driving, thinking about future. Then, great, wonderful. So I know there are lots of people still doing it, but the idea was just to look at various things. What are the things which energize you? What are the things which give you relaxation, which are more from a control, which leads to apathy, and so on. So on. Okay. So my request is if you can stop in over here so that we can continue with the next part. So I hope you enjoyed this particular activity. So shall I, do you still want time or are we done with this? Okay, so let me just, okay, cool. Okay, great. So quickly, any reflections? I know it's all 9:30. I don't want to keep you waiting, but there is certain thing which I wanted to kind of discuss with you before we close it. So any observations, thoughts on this particular activity? So let me just rephrase. We started off with the ABC of check-in and keeping the overall leadership thing in mind of how it starts with leading with self. We did this quick activity of what we are feeling right now. We did this activity of Cynefin framework in terms of simple to complex and complicated, and then right now we looked at ABC of an activity, the internal, external, the beliefs which are rational, irrational, and the consequences which could be a positive or a negative. And then right now we looked at the EQ framework of emotional intelligence, starting with self-awareness, and we have done this particular activity. So let me just take a pause over here and see if there are any observations, thoughts, comments, whatever, if anybody would want to share.
Yeah, sir, I just want to make one statement, like from the 3 activities that we did, from the first one to writing names and all. Sir, I was seeing in the Chrome that cursors are moving, texts are going, name are going here from here and there. So from that, sir, I observed that ideas are moving, because we cannot observe the flow of ideas, right? We are thinking, but we cannot see the how the flow is going on. We say the mind is the fastest thing in this world. So I'm seeing that too many ideas from here and there, from one quadrant to another quadrant. Tarun's name is going from here, Arujit's name, Survi's name, and they are writing here and there. So I can see the flow of idea in that particular screen. I was observing that, and I'm seeing that we can visualize this thing, or else we can't see that how ideas actually flow. So I found this thing from all the 3 activities.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. It is more of a collaborative effort where we are kind of each one of us is doing it over here, and so everybody is unique. Everybody has their own aspect, and that's where we said that you can just put in over here, and that helps the power of collaboration. The same thing can be expressed differently by different people, and which is perfectly all right. that's where I said leadership is all about diversity. There's nothing black or white. It's all about thousands and shades of gray. So that's perfectly fine. So great observation that people were all involved into this particular thing and going around and creating more things and all. Great observation. Thanks.
I'd
Anybody
like
else?
something here. I'm Rashika. Initially, when we started filling in this, so they were all these negative words, boredom, worry, etc. But when we saw people were actually filling in those blocks, arousal and focusing and stuff, so that's where positive energy got generated within us, and we drifted to that direction where we started thinking about the good things in our life and good things around us. So yeah, it was a beautiful experience, beautiful activity.
Great. Great. Great observation. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sir Tarun here. Negative words don't always carry a negative connotation. You can always counter them with your own positivity. That's what I felt here.
Absolutely. Very true. Like being sad doesn't mean that one can't not be sad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be having faults. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to express our things. I think it's fine as long as we know what is that emotion. I think it's important to express it fully. So very rightly said. So there is, even I feel there's nothing positive or negative, but I think the goodness of it needs to be looked into. What is positive for somebody might be negative for somebody else. So I think there's no absolute truth in the picture.
So I have one
Wonderful.
question.
So yes.
Scuba diving interest. I have one question in your interest in scuba diving. So I would like to know where do you exactly do scuba diving? Are you by chance certified by PADI? Because
yes,
I read
that
you are certified. So you are certified by PADI, and where do you exactly do this scuba diving?
Well, there are multiple places where you can do the scuba diving. So I'm certified by PADI, and I'll be happy to share this with you offline. If you have any thing, I'll be happy. Okay, you can check it out. It is available in most of the places. But unfortunately, the waters, there are two aspects, visibility and clarity, which unfortunately is not that great in most of the beaches over here. So that's about the PADI part.
Sir, actually, I did in Nicobar I did in Nicobar. There I got to know that you can get certified over there from by PADI, and these operators themselves tell them to get into the program.
Yeah, so I got certified through an Australian agency, and I did it abroad. So, but yes, even those are Andaman Nicobar is a good place to kind of do your PADI certification, so scuba diving certification. Okay, folks, let's move on. This is the final one. Yeah, just last one, which I just wanted to share. We're almost done. So this is the final thing. We've gone through the entire thing. So right now you have lots of ideas, thoughts, experiences, but this is something which you can just look at it in terms of any specific thought that you have, a thought which you want to question. Like I said, you'll be having more than 70,000 thoughts, but thought which has been with you for quite some time. So a thought which is now and you're not going to think about it in the future, or you're not thought about it for last week or so is not something important, but a thought which is really there from an intensity perspective also is something you need to look at. Just keep at that thought, and I think the way you need to do this check-in is by asking what is the evidence for your thought. For example, one of the thing came in, let me say that all dogs are dangerous. So what is the evidence of your thought? It was coming from my own experience that any dog which is free there is going to bite me, and again I'm going to have those injections. So similarly, I'm just giving this as an example, or any other thought that you would be having. So it would be good if you just note down these questions for yourself. Take your thought, which you feel is something which is important, and do a quick self check-in. The thought has to be significant. Which you are, it's not that something tomorrow you are not going to think about it. It's not like, okay, I want to order something. That's also a thought for food. But tomorrow I am going to think about it again. May or may not be. But a thought which is really intense, and you know what it is. So what is the evidence of the thought? what is the evidence against your thought? So again, in the example of, let's say somebody mentioned about a roller coaster. So there was this thought that, okay, sitting in this thing is really dangerous. So what is the evidence against that thought? It could be, okay, it is quite safe. Many people enjoy rides and there's nothing if all the safety are taken care of. Who's in control of this particular thought? This thought that is there, who's in control? Are you basing this thoughts on feelings or facts or feelings? Normally, these are the engines of life. We look at facts and feelings, but we get overwhelmed with feelings that we don't get back to facts. So it's important to know, are we basing our thoughts on facts or feelings? Is this thought black and white when the reality is more complicated? Normally, we just assign judgments. So we need to look at it in terms of what exactly it is. Is there something different than what it could be? Could you be misinterpreting this particular evidence? And then these are the other aspects. Are you making any assumptions, if at all, around that thought? What are those? Might other people have different interpretation on the same situation? What are they? It's important to get these thoughts validated through others. Whatever thought you are having, are you looking at evidence or just what supports your thoughts? Could your thoughts be an exaggeration of what's true? Are you having this thought out of habit or do the facts support it? Did someone pass this thought belief to you? If so, are they reliable source? So these are some of the questions that you can probably look at. I'll be happy to share this with all of you subsequently, and so that you'll be able to kind of work on it. So friends, I know it's almost end of this thing, so I'm quickly closing this session, and stopping to share my screen over here, and I'll come in live and should be able to look at. Yes, so a quick feedback of what it was, how it was. I know we have already overshot the time by 10 minutes. So I'm done. I don't know if it was helpful. It was this thing for you. If you enjoyed it, how was it?
So first
Quick
of its kind.
from you, Dari.
I really enjoyed it. It was the first of its kind and very engaging. Thank you for the session.
Thank you, Arun. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It was a really great session, very insightful, energetic, and like as Tarun mentioned. So really, sir, we enjoyed a lot. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thanks. My pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We had a day with full of activities, but still the session was refreshing in a sense that we got to know about few new perspectives and dive in ourselves, think about certain thoughts and put it on somewhere and be creative. So it gave us a new insight. Thanks a lot.
I'm glad that you found it useful.
So much for the fresh perspective. And I think your scuba diving wallpaper makes me think about the beaches. We are locked in our homes for such a long time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was very invigorating, sir.
Thank you for your kind words.
Totally agreed with Shilpi. It was totally. I remembered. I became nostalgic. I wrote that nostalgic because I remembered my day when I was jumping in from that. I don't know how many feet into the swimming pool. Like I was diving, and you see it from the top, and you see water over there, and you don't know how you will fall. And I fell flat on my back on my first time, but I really liked it, and I did that 4 to 5 times, and on the 5th times my back was red, but I learned it. I was then going like really.
Yeah. Good. Keep doing it, Akshay. It's very important. Everybody has a kid and us.
Actually,
Should keep it
people
alive.
sharing their experiences. So in a way, because we are all meeting virtually only, so we are getting to know each other better as people share their experiences. So that is also part of process. So thank you for that also.
Great.
I would like to add that I've always heard the difference between a mentor and a coach. So a coach is somebody who makes us realize our strengths from within. He doesn't give us suggestions. So I think that's who you were. You were asking us, like you were talking to Abhijit. So you were asking him to explore his own self. So it was a beautiful experience. So thank you.
Thank you.
So with your address of today, we are very enriched that you gave us so many enriching points like ABC of self-check-in and scuba diving, your scuba diving example. And then, this was a platform for interaction of section A and section B. We have been divided into two sections. So we have never interacted with people from section B. So this was the first platform where we have interacted with them and they shared their views like Ritvik, Surabhi, Parneet, Somin, Abhijit, Prasoon, and Himanshu. Rashika. So, and you also talked about, angelizing the devil inside us and then self-reflections and, learning to reflect from our own feelings. And Tarun, he used a very good word that negative words do not have negative connotations. They can be countered by your own positivity. So with this enriching experience, I really want to thank you for this fruitful session and, giving us an opportunity to reflect on our own feelings. And we are very grateful for this fruitful session.
Thank you so much.
On
I
behalf
really
of
thoroughly
XLRI,
enjoyed
really
it.
thank
So to be very honest, I didn't wanted this session to end. It was such a, I mean, people were so engaged and we were so much in the moment. I mean, we were after coming through such a, I mean, the day, and we just didn't wanted it to end anyhow. I mean, people would be hungry, people would want to go to sleep, but then this was not the case with this session. So really thanks for that.
Thanks, Ritvik. So once again, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
No, on
This
behalf
was
of
probably the first time I. Yeah. Thanks, Divya. In fact, thanks to each one of you for giving me an opportunity and being so candid, sharing things so candidly with everybody. So it was a wonderful experience for me as well. And I look forward to having more such interactions with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you all.
night.
So,
Bye.
Bye. Good night. I'm signing off now. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Right, sir.
ये वाला रिकॉर्डिंग दादा को बोल के रखा है क्या 10 मिनट के लिए?
इतनी देर से
आईटी दादा रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दो ना।